Good afternoon and welcome to today's class. The topic for the day is developing your vocabulary through reading. I know you'd agree with me that university education is characterized by a lot of reading because most of the materials you are given are high standard materials, very difficult to understand sometimes. But you can be successful as long as you build your vocabulary, acquire reading skills so that reading becomes something you take with joy. And of course, research has shown that context plays a very crucial role in understanding unfamiliar words. And of course, it's not just context when it comes to reading. Life in general is about context. That is why laughter, which means that you are happy in a given context, can mean danger. Suppose somebody pulls out a gun and points it at you and begins to laugh. Would you laugh too? Of course not, because in that context, laughter means danger. So context is very crucial. And of course, when we shed tears, it means that we are sad. But we can also be extremely happy and tears begin to flow down our cheeks. That is why we have the English expression tears of joy. So context is crucial just about anything, including reading and acquiring vocabulary. That is why some writers are deliberate in helping readers deduce the meaning of an unfamiliar word. And one of the ways they use or they help audience or readers acknowledge and understand the meaning of words by means of restatement. It means they state the word or the concept in other words. And they give cues so that readers could tell that there is something going on. There's a comparison or something being drawn here. Then the cues are, in other words, this means, that is, to put it another way, which is to say, or they sometimes use the positives. So let's get right into the examples to put this in context. Example one says, Gandhi used Thoreau's technique of civil disobedience. That is, he passively refused to comply with government regulation that affected his personal life. Suppose you are seeing the expression civil disobedience for the first time and you wonder what it means. Right there in the context, you have the cue, that is. So civil disobedience explained, restated in other words. He passively refused to comply with government regulations. So you can begin to wonder, oh, if you passively refuse to comply with government regulation, could that be civil disobedience? The context is helping you to deduce that. So restatement can be used to help readers deduce meaning of words. Example two, when plants photosynthesize their process of food production, they release a certain gas into the atmosphere. Suppose you are meeting the word photosynthesize for the first time. Right there in the context comes their positive, their process of food production. And their positive is separated by two commas. Right there you can feel that, oh, photosynthesize. Could it have to do with plant food production? So the meaning is given right there in context. Isn't that interesting? So writers use restatement to help readers deduce meanings of unfamiliar words. They also use examples. When we see examples, it is easy to tell what a word could mean. Writers use examples and they give cues such, like, as, especially, for example, for instance, and others. So once you see these cues, there could be examples to help you understand an unfamiliar word. So example three, dandelion and other herbs are known to boost the immune system. Suppose you're seeing dandelion for the first time in your life, but right there in the context, even if you wonder what it means, is and other herbs. So herbs, other gives you an example, herbs. So it means that there is no way that dandelion could be anything else apart from being a type of herb. Just that deduction is made because examples are given. Example 4. Kildran is standoffish. For instance, he wouldn't talk to people he considers poor. Suppose you are meeting the word standoffish for the first time and you wonder what it means. Right there in context comes the expression for instance. And then he wouldn't talk to people he considers poor. Oh, an example of being standoffish is not to talk to people, looking down upon people. Then standoffish could mean disrespectful, arrogant, snobbish. You're beginning to think. Context helps you to do that. So it is interesting as we develop our vocabulary, we also read and develop interesting, beautiful skills to enhance our reading skills in the university. Some writers also use comparison. When you compare things, when things are similar, it is easy to tell one from the other. Or one could have some relations with the other. Now, we have cues like as, like, similar to, tantamount to, analogous with, in the same way, the way. These are just a few. There are many other ways, but these are cues that could help you that a writer is comparing two or more items, and you could begin to think what the word that you doubt means. Example 5. He could not subitize the books on the shelf as John could accurately count the number of pens in the case. Suppose you are seeing the word subitize for the first time in your life and you wonder what it means. But right there, again, the comparison is drawn with as. John could accurately count. So you're beginning to wonder, what does subitize mean? Could it have to do with being able to count books on a shelf or something? Of course, subitize has to do with counting few items just by looking at them. But right from this context, you could deduce that it has something to do with counting. So comparison is one of the key ways writers use to help readers deduce the meaning of unfamiliar words within a context. Then, if comparisons could do that, no doubt contrast could do the same thing. When things are different, we could tell A from B. So contrast plays a good role in helping readers understand words in context. Some of the cues we have for contrast are but, though, although, even though, on the contrary, on the other hand, as opposed to, unlike, contrarily. So it just shows contrast. Let's see example 6. He seems to be very friendly with his sister in public, although in private he is very antagonistic with her. Of course, the word friendly is a common word, but suppose you are seeing the word antagonistic for the first time and you wonder what it means. But here is a contrast with the cue, although. If somebody is not friendly with a sister, is friendly with a sister in public, but in private, the person is antagonistic, then antagonistic could have something to do with the contrast of being friendly. Could it mean I'm friendly? Could it be rude? You are beginning to think, to use your mind to see. Context by means of contrast helps you to do that. Isn't it amazing how context is crucial to helping us understand the meaning of unfamiliar words? Yeah, context is very crucial. So it's interesting for us to come to know that today we have discussed 4 main ways that writers help readers understand meanings of unfamiliar words. Restatement, which means that the writers would capture the meaning of the word, the contentious word, in other words to help the reader deduce the meaning. By means of examples too, you can tell by means of comparison, similarity, and also by means of contrast. So writers do that. And as you're able to read and use your mind, acquire vocabulary, it is going to help you to become successful readers. And even that, you acquire skills. Which type of skills? You'll be analytical in your reading because you pay attention to words and context. So you become an analytical reader, which is crucial to succeeding as a university student. You are going to improve your overall reading skills. And of course, you expand your vocabulary and you develop a critical mind. Remember, when you're beginning to compare things, see example, look at restatement of things, cues, and other things to inform you about what an unfamiliar word means, then you are developing a critical mind. Context enables us to do this and help us to become successful readers in the university or elsewhere. The next time we will discuss other ways apart from context that can help us acquire vocabulary while we read. Thank you so much for being around. Have a wonderful